The first Thursday in June, kids in New York City have the day off school, and the reason why is so convoluted, but we'll teach you a lot about why New York is the way it is. This holiday has been called at minimum 4 different names. Back in 1780, all of the cool kids in Britain were working in factories, which meant that they didn't have time to attend regular schooling, and so Sunday schools were established. Extremely popular, and by 1811, over 500,000 children were enrolled in Sunday schools, and the concept started to expand internationally, with the first Sunday school being established on Long Island in 1816 by the Brooklyn Sunday School Union. This was way before any of the bridges from Manhattan into Brooklyn, and so not only was Brooklyn an independent city, it was also culturally isolated and dominated by the religious beliefs of white Protestants. The establishment of Sunday schools in Brooklyn was a huge deal, and by 1826, Anniversary Day was established to commemorate the founding of the first Sunday school here. And then by 1838, you had massive parades that would take place across Brooklyn, with some of them having tens of thousands of school children. Celebrations for Anniversary Day were definitely largest in Brooklyn, but there was also a strong Protestant population in neighboring Queens, and localized celebrations took place there as well. But then there was a problem because in 1898, the city of New York consolidated into the 5 boroughs that we know today. Only school children in Brooklyn had Anniversary Day off, and the city didn't like that, so between 1902 and 1906, Anniversary Day was not permitted to be observed, and Brooklyn was pissed, pushed back hard, and after 1906, they were the only borough permitted to observe Anniversary Day, with Queens following suit in 1911. Brooklyn was established as the OG suburb. It was a direct, hateful response to the existence of Manhattan, which was seen as dirty, morally corrupt, full of vice and criminals. All of the Protestants that controlled early Brooklyn politics wanted anything but to be like Manhattan. The amount of religious influence on early Brooklyn politics was intense. Protestants were trying to ban the showing of motion pictures, they were doing their own prohibition, they were trying to ban horse-drawn carriages on Sundays. Brooklyn was known as the city of churches because of the amount of steeples on its skyline. Even in the present day, if you are in a working class neighborhood, especially if it has an ethnic identity, people are religious. So it makes sense that the Anniversary Day celebrations were most intense in Brooklyn. The ones in Queens were observed, but technically optional until 1959, when the Queens Federation of Churches lobbied Nelson Rockefeller, the governor, to write the holiday into state law, which made it Brooklyn Queens Day. In the 200 years of this holiday's existence, the demographics of Brooklyn have shifted dramatically. There was an influx of European immigrants as well as an increase in Black residents, and that led to the OG white flight, where Protestant residents moved further out into the boroughs or even out of the city. Slowly but surely, the celebration of Anniversary Day became more mellow. The celebration of this holiday at one point had 150,000 school children marching through the streets. By the 1970s, you started to see it mellow down to just localized observances. In neighborhoods like Bed-Stuy, which have massive presences of historic Black churches, they tried to maintain these celebrations. Then Brooklyn Queens Day kind of just became a day of animosity between Brooklyn, Queens, and the other boroughs, because only school children in Brooklyn and Queens had the day off until 2005 contract negotiations with the teachers union, where it was agreed that it would become a citywide observance. For teachers, it's known as Chancellor Day because they meet with the Chancellor. For kids, it's known as Anniversary Day again.